Oop-a-doo, that's kind of nice. Kind of got some nice lighting here. When all else fails. Come here. There's my girl. There's my girl. When all else fails, there's two when all else fails rules of thumb. Make sure the lighting's good and get your dog in the picture. People like dogs and people like good lighting. You know what I mean? Hello, Jack. Hello, Met Chef. Hello, old-fashioned smiley face. Happy December to you, Jack. I got a little crisis to report. Hello, Jimmy. You see my slippers? I brag about my slippers a lot. Hello, RJ. Thank you for sending me the heart or whatever that was. I brag about my slippers a lot. These are, I don't know, what are they, 3 or 4 years old. They were a gift, a housewarming gift for me. For a while in real estate, we would buy these. Realtors often will buy their clients closing gifts when they close on a home. And for a while, since we loved this product so much, and I'm not giving you the best view of them right now, and I'll tell you why in a moment, we would buy his and her slippers. And they're UGG slippers. They're about $110, and they're awesome. Great sole. Can wear them outside. But the reason I'm talking about them today and why I got to break the news to you is I just vacuumed my carpet. And I saw a TikTok a little bit ago, or I don't know, maybe a month ago now, and they said instead of using Carpet Fresh with all those chemicals, just throw a little baking powder or baking soda on the carpet and vacuum it up, and it'll refresh your home without getting all the chemicals. And I did that. Some of the baking soda, is it baking soda? Got on my shoes. And they're kind of a dark navy, blackish shoe. And I don't know, I'm sure it'll come out. But that's the crisis I'm dealing with today. That is the crisis I'm dealing with today. Hey, we got an engineer telling us exactly what it is. Sodium bicarbonate. I still don't know if it's powder or soda, but at least I know the chemical composition of what I'm using. And I don't know why. I should have invented that stuff. I guess it was probably invented before I was born. But it comes in handy, and it can be used for all sorts of things. And you see them in refrigerators, and you see them in freezers. And apparently they absorb smell. They're good for cleaning. Although I just sprinkled it all over my carpet. And let me tell you, I thought it would be a good idea for the baking soda, I think it is, to set on the carpet a little while. And I took advantage of that 10 or 15 minutes by running into the kitchen and doing some dishes. So that is multitasking. But anyway, and I want to talk about that. Before I get into my show, I think one of the gifts I have, and I wonder if I learned it from being a waiter or just from being kind of frantic and fast thinking and fast moving and kind of running from A to B and B to C. But I'm pretty good at multitasking. I'm good at getting one thing started and going off and doing a little work over here and coming back over here and getting over there and putting a baby to bed and vacuuming the carpet and washing the dishes and petting my dog and walking my dog and going live here on TikTok. So I somehow managed to juggle it all. I don't know if I do any of them particularly well, but I'm pretty good at juggling a bunch of things at once. So good morning to you. My name is Ken Tracy, and this is Coffee with Ken. This is Nap Time Coffee with Ken. It's a show I started 3 days ago. Oh, yeah, the long history of Nap Time Coffee with Ken. I think back to my very first episode as if it was just the day before yesterday. And it makes me tear up. It makes me tear up. Such a special day the day before yesterday was, or 3 days ago, or what have you. Hey, Stephen Glenn, thank you so much for following the live creator. I appreciate that. I joke a lot on my show, but I have a lot of fun on my show, and like to I don't know. It seems to put a smile on my face, and occasionally it'll put a smile on other people's faces. And if you can make somebody a little bit happier and make yourself a little bit happier and give your dog Holly some attention while you're doing it, it seems like a win-win-win. Look, she's very demanding, as you know. Hello, Julie Flanagan. Hey, Kim, thank you so much for following the live creator one at a time. I can't tell you how long it's taken for me my trudge towards 10,000 subscribers here on TikTok. Thank you for the rose, Julie Flanagan. My trudge towards 10,000 subscribers. It was last December or January. It was at like 5,800, and I thought, hey, I think in 2 or 3 months I'm going to be at 10,000 subscribers. I don't know what 10,000 subscribers is going to do for me, but it's going to be a big milestone, a big number, and a number that I've been shooting for almost a year. For almost a year. And anyway, I'm trudging towards it one at a time. I pick up a Kim and then a Steven, and I go live, and I'll add 2 or 3, and then every day I'll add 3 or 4 more. So, 6, 7 a day. Takes a long time to add up to 10,000. Keep laughing, Kim. Don't go anywhere. You're one of my 2 I've gained today. Kim keeps giving me teary face, smiley, laugh faces. But I appreciate Kim because she's 50% of my new subscribers today. So she means a lot. Let me drink some water. And I don't know if I've already said it. Good morning. Hello, Eugenie. Good morning to you. Again, my name is Ken Tracy. And this is Coffee with Ken, a special nap time version. Well, JK, it is important to be hydrated. JK is worried that it's going to be called Water with Ken. Think how healthy we would be. Think how healthy I would be. How hydrated I would be. And if my audience, my massive audience that I sometimes get, would all be sitting drinking their water at the same time. What a beautiful city we would live in, and a beautiful world we would live in, and a beautiful social media connection we would live in, all being very hydrated. But alas, this isn't just a show about me staying hydrated. For those that have been watching a while, it's also a show about me sharing my love of coffee. So I brought my carafe out. Honestly, I think I made my 3rd pot today, which is almost grotesque, even for a guy that has his own Coffee with Ken mug. But I'll tell you what, it was tragedy when I woke up this morning. And don't get out your Kleenex and rub away tears when I say it was tragedy. It wasn't truly tragedy, but I've gotten in the good habit of preparing my coffee maker the night before, and I've done it 3 or 4 nights in a row, and I feel like pat on the back because I think habits make the man or the woman, and the more good habits we add and the more bad habits we remove, the better our lives will eventually be. 3 or 4 nights ago, I determined, hey, I'm going to make the coffee maker every night. Or prepare the coffee maker. Last night, I poured the last bits of the pumpkin spice from Dunkin' Donuts in my coffee maker. It was more coffee grounds than I needed. But I figured it'll be extra strong in the morning. And I went about my evening, went to bed, woke up this morning, and it came down. And I looked. I thought there was a strange aroma of pumpkin in the air, pumpkin spice in the air. And I looked at my coffee maker, and it was filled. I don't know if when I was setting it up, if I pushed the start button last night, or somehow it was programmed to go off at like 1 in the morning, or somebody during the night other than me pushed the start button and got it going. I'd say the most obvious suspect would be me. When I prepared it, I probably pushed that start button. But it was odd. And bear with me because this story is gripping. It was odd. The coffee pot was actually still fairly warm, much above room temperature. I'd probably say 80-some degrees. So when my wife came down and when I had my very first sip, I did my first sip video. What I'd done is I'd poured a cup of coffee and thrown it in the microwave and heated it up to appropriate temperature. So when I took my first sip, oh no, it wasn't tepid, RJ. It wasn't tepid, but I appreciate you throwing that word around. It was the right temperature, but in my heart and in my mind, I wasn't sure it was the best coffee I could be drinking. You might ask me, Ken, why didn't you just throw out that pot and brew up another? Well, if you are listening to the details of my story closely, if you are listening to the details of my story closely, you might have heard me say I poured the last of my pumpkin spice grounds in the coffee. And I wanted the pumpkin spice. I needed the pumpkin spice. So I drank, I guess what would be best called a very strong but stale and not quite as hot temperature pumpkin spice coffee as I wanted for most of the morning. Which brings me to this, my third pot of the day. And I am so excited to take my first sip. And it is the Starbucks Sumatra. And it's going to be hot, and it's going to be fresh, and it's going to be ready for me to take a sip. And my hope is wherever you are, whatever you're doing, wow, it's getting kind of dim in this room. I think a big cloud just rolled on outside. I mean, it's a cloudy day. Let me show you, before I get to my coffee, let me show you what we're looking outside in Naperville. Kind of a cloudy day. Kind of a cloudy day. Ever visit the world's largest Starbucks on Michigan Avenue? No, I haven't. No, I haven't. I don't even know if I'd like the world's largest Starbucks, but let me get back to the coffee before we talk about that. My hope is wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you got a hot cup of coffee in front of you as well. Cheers to us. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. See, that's a real McCoy. The real deal. And yeah, that's the Sumatra. And okay, RJ, it's earthy. As much as I've been digging flavored coffee lately, and I have been digging flavored coffee lately, it really is nice going back to the just the classic, the dark roast Sumatra coffee that I enjoy so much. Jimmy says he's been starting to drink coffee all day now, thanks to me. Hey, you're welcome, Jimmy. I appreciate it. You don't even have to be kidding. I think coffee's not just made for the morning. Uh, and when you drink as much as I do, you have a tendency to, I mean, it doesn't even affect your sleep during the night. It doesn't even affect your sleep during the night. JK, who's hopped on from time to time, said I was up for a heckle award. JK, I remember, I was going to say a gentleman. Could be a lady for all I know. Could be Julie, could be Joe. I don't know his name or his or her name. But anyways, told me that Heckle is a fun app that people do a lot of live streaming on. And I tried it once. I set up an account and heckled for a little bit, but I honestly didn't know what I was doing. And people hopped on and were chatting with me. But I don't know that I need a whole nother social media platform right now. And I don't know that I need to be a pioneer on a app that I know nothing about right now. I've got my hands full with the social media platforms that I'm on. It's funny. It's funny because, I used to be a Facebook crazed nut and think Facebook, the sun rose and set in Mark Zuckerberg's wherever, by Mark Zuckerberg's house. I was going to say something else, but I won't. And I just, I used to spend, as a realtor, I thought it was a gift to realtors and a way to stay connected. And I think that it was. And I think the strength of Facebook is you stay connected to your friends and your family and the people in your town or area. And as my needs have changed, as I left the real estate business, I was a realtor for 17 years. And I'm no longer a realtor. My want to stay connected with those just locally has diminished tremendously. I realize it's a big world out there. I don't know how many people there are, 6, 7, 8 billion people. If I want to broadcast a message or some videos or grow an audience, I shouldn't focus on my community or my town or my locality. And I'll tell you why I think this. And this might, hey, thank you so much, user, for following the live creator. There was a guy. I think my content's worthwhile. I think I have a positive vibe, a positive attitude, and a good spirit about me that seems to resonate with a certain audience. There was a guy. Oh no, my story's going to be ruined. My story's going to be ruined if I can't think of it. Oh my gosh, my story's going to be ruined. There was a comedian from Downers Grove who I thought was amazingly unfunny. What was his name? What was his name? We might just have to, not Macho Man. He was from Downers Grove, but not the Macho Man. Like, what was his name? Good morning, Cindy Strickland. If somebody out there, and I only have 7 people watching, and I cherish all 7 of you. Hello, Rock Dugan. If somebody out there could Google, while I'm here, comedian from Downers Grove, I would go ahead and finish this story because I think it's an important story and it's an important reason why Emo Phillips. Emo Phillips. Thank you, RJ. There was a comedian from Downers Grove named Emo Phillips. And he's a little older than me. I don't know how old he is now. He's probably 10 years older than me, and that's just a guess. But he grew to some decent level of fame, the type of fame that he might pop on I don't know, and I'm making this up, but like a Johnny Carson show from time to time. He became a fairly successful comedian. But honestly, I think hey, thanks for the hat. I think his humor sucked. He was strange. He was an oddball. He had a weird haircut, and he told amazingly lame jokes. My point is that it's not that he's a bad comedian. But if he would have focused his efforts to humans from Downers Grove and focused, or to kids he went to high school with, he was probably one of the biggest geeks in high school, is my guess, just from watching his show. But if he would have said, hey, the kids in my high school don't think I'm very cool, or the people in Downers Grove don't seem to get my humor, he would have never gotten anywhere in his comedic life. He would have stayed a little geeky kid and stayed in Downers Grove, a nice town of 45,000 people just west of Chicago. But he went big and broadened his audience and found his people and found his audience in the great ball that's hurtling around the sun that is the earth. But if he would have kept local and kept in Downers Grove, again, and I bring this back to me, if I would have stayed on Facebook and tried to get my friends to like my content or friends to care about my videos, because to my friends, I'm some guy that used to be a fast runner in high school. And I do a lot of talks about sobriety and relationships and inspirational stuff and some funny stuff as well. They look at me, they already have me pegged as who I am to them. And they honestly may or may not care much about my other stuff. They like me as me to them, the guy that was a fast runner in high school. And but to build an audience and to build my platform and to build Coffee with Ken, I had to get off Facebook and go on YouTube and go on TikTok and go on some of the platforms that feed your message, your videos, your content to the world. And I realized at some point that Facebook, while very valuable from a realtor's perspective, who is trying to sell homes locally, if you're trying to explode your platform, I think you're better off, building it on either TikTok or YouTube, and maybe bringing it back to Facebook eventually. And basically that's what I'm doing. And now I never even go on Facebook, and it's amazing because I used to spend most of my days or most of my social media time there, and I was very hesitant to leave it and go to other platforms. I thought it was the beginning and the end of all that is social media. So that's my thought, and that's why I'm here. Let's drink a little more coffee. It's funny, JK asked if I knew my wife when I was in high school. Let me say, when I was a senior in high school, my wife was 2. So no. I didn't know. I didn't know my wife in high school. What year was that? 1865. 1865. It's interesting. I've been watching a lot of documentaries lately. I watched a awesome documentary on Ben Franklin and learned a lot about Ben Franklin. And I watched an awesome documentary on Thomas Jefferson. And honestly, I left the documentary on Ben Franklin thinking more of Ben Franklin, and the documentary on Thomas Jefferson thinking less of Thomas Jefferson. And also watched and I'll get to the Civil War connection. Uh, uh, I also watched a documentary, and this blows my mind, on the Lewis and Clark expedition where they explored the Louisiana Purchase and were looking for the Northwest Passage, a waterway to the Pacific Ocean that didn't exist. And blown away what those dudes went through, and just how hard of a camping trip that was. It blows me away. Um, yeah, holy smokes. I mean, Indians, bears, disease, drowning, bugs, heat, cold, snow, mountains, having no idea what to expect. No idea what to expect. And oh my gosh, they lost one guy out of 30 or 40 people that went out on this trip uh, due to like a ruptured appendix, which would have happened at that time. That was probably fatal anywhere you were, whether you were in a city and had doctors around it or not. It was a bad thing to happen. And other than that, they brought everybody back. And it blows me away what they went through. They had to meet people of Native Americans that spoke different languages and learn how to communicate and hopefully not get killed by them, or, you know, get along, trade, barter with these guys, get horses from them. Uh, Amazing what they went through. Climb mountains. Holy smokes. Without, they didn't even know where they were going. So it is amazing. If anyone wants to uh, watch an interesting documentary, and again, I'd heard of Lewis and Clark and knew of them a little bit, and obviously knew a little bit about it, but just watching the documentary, it changes your perspective on how hard it was. How hard it was. And I think during the documentary, they compare it to going to the moon. And in some ways, going to the moon was probably a heck of a lot easier because at least the Apollo missions that were flying off to the moon could communicate with Houston, with the people that were guiding them. But back in 1803, oh 04, oh 05, during the Lewis and Clark expedition, you basically go west of the Mississippi, you might as well be on the moon. And when you get off into the Northwest Rockies, where no white man had ever gone before, holy smokes, what an adventure that must have been. What an adventure that must have been. So let's have a little more coffee. So anyway, I'm feeling good. A little change of pace today. I've been kind of stay-at-home dad over the last couple weeks. My wife recently got an opportunity in an industry she's awesome at, in a position she's going to completely dominate at. And she's been going to work and working the last several days. And she's off today, to be honest with you. But you're never off as a mom. You're never off as a dad. And she's taking two of our three little ones, to a doctor's appointment today. So I only have my littlest baby, my beautiful little angel Eve, upstairs sleeping right now. and Augie is off, and my youngest stepson is off, and my wife is off, and I'm at home, uh, drinking some coffee, sharing some stories, sharing some thoughts, and sharing some minutes with you. And I want to thank you guys for joining me. Danielle asked, "How old am I?" I am 55 years old. I am 55 years old. Oh, it's a lot more than daycare. Let me tell you. When we had, let me guess, when I was a when I was divorced. How old were my girls? I have two older girls from my first marriage, and they're now 17 and 14. And when they were born, I was a realtor. So I was going out of the house and I was working at the office, the real estate office. And although my schedule was flexible, I'd go to the office a lot. I don't know if I knew how. I'm not going to get any tears from anybody. No pity's coming my way. I know it. Uh, Sympathy from anybody. But I don't know if I knew how exhausting hanging with two little babies that are little whirling dervishes, Tasmanian devils, all they can be. When I finally lay them to bed at, I don't know, somewhere between 5:30 and 7 o'clock at night, oh, is it a good feeling? Oh, is it a good feeling? Oh, is it a good feeling? And Augie's been teasing. My 2.5-year-old's been teething the last bit, and fussing and getting upset and yelling at his sister and needing fed and not wanting the food I gave him. And it came to the point yesterday for lunch, I decided, hey, who doesn't like blueberry pancakes? Who doesn't like blueberry pancakes? So that's what I made them for lunch. And let me tell you, they liked blueberry pancakes for lunch. And I liked blueberry pancakes for lunch. I liked the blueberry pancakes so much that when my stepson and my stepdaughter got home, I go, hey, you guys want blueberry pancakes for dinner? You want blueberry pancakes for dinner? And they both said, yeah, yeah, yeah. And my 9-year-old had 5, and they were big pancakes. And my stepdaughter, who's 12, had 4, and they were sizable pancakes as well. But they wolfed them down, and they were delicious. And I think blueberries are one of those miracle foods. I think there's like 3 or 4 uh, miracle foods, and blueberries are one of them. And they are good. They are good. I never thought I was that big of a fan of blueberries. I never thought I was that big of a fan of blueberries. They might be moving up the ranking pretty quickly in my ranking of fruits. I don't want to go through my 3 favorite fruits because I might have to shuffle it. I said apple, orange, and banana. But, if there was an apple sitting there on my table or there was a bowl of blueberries, I would go for the blueberries. There's not a doubt about it. So let's have a little more coffee. Plus, I was going to say, whoever heard of apple pancakes? But we've all actually heard of apple pancakes. It's the hard thing about doing a live show. I got no material planned out. And I'll say things like, whoever heard of apple pancakes? And you go, Ken? The breakfast joint down the street does sell apple pancakes. Daniel wants to know what I think of raspberries. The thing I like about raspberries, the only thing I think I like about raspberries is that there's a P in the word, that it's raspberries. And I don't really know why. Other than that, I'm not a big fan. Blueberries and blackberries all day long. Okay, Marici, yeah. What's the deal with pancakes? What is the deal with pancakes? They're delicious. They're delicious. They're cheap. They're delicious. And they're great for more than just breakfast. Again, I had them for lunch for my little ones and dinner for my older ones yesterday. And they were a huge hit with both of them. Why do I sound like Jimmy Stewart? Well, Nick, man, I don't know if I can ask why I sound like something. Hey, Greg, how are you? Did you end up keeping those kitties? That kitty? Greg, the affiliate wingman, is a good guy. And what I learned today, because he popped up on my TikTok is he's got a kind. I mean, I always knew he had a kind heart, but he's a big teddy bear. He's a big teddy bear. The Greg is a big teddy bear because he had a cute little kitty climb, and I'm not even a cat fan. I don't even like cats a whole heck of a lot. But he had a cute little kitty purring on his shoulder and underneath his chin and kind of nestling up to him and loving him, and yeah. And it was a cute little video. It was a cute little video. I am 6'2". Well, it's hard not. Greg found a kitten, a little sweet kitten, little sweet kitten. It's hard not falling in love with a baby of anything because they're all cute. And then they become teenagers. And then they become teenagers. And you wonder, can you trade them in for two more little babies? They were so cute and sweet and cuddly when they were little. But no. What is zesty comment? Do I ever dress as Santa? RJ, I've never dressed as Santa. I will say last Christmas, for any long watchers of my show, I did wear a Santa hat last Christmas. And I did wear a Santa's hat last Christmas for my show. And I think it was a good show. Then teen or adult mom, I get it. I don't know what that means. You have 3 now. Took 1 in 3 years ago and had no idea she was pregnant. Wait, you're 3 cats? I've heard you can't even tell if a cat is a boy or a girl. That sometimes I don't even understand what that means. I don't understand what that means. RJ asks, how's wrestling? That's a good question. I have a stepson actually, in wrestling at a local high school. And he had a meet last night. And I think this is an interesting topic. He didn't make weight. He missed it by a couple pounds. And we are a softer, kinder society than we were even maybe 20 or 30 or 40 years ago when I was in high school. And back then, you could shed a couple pounds in a day, and you dropped weight to hit a certain weight class so you'd get to wrestle against smaller kids. Now, although I'm sure they still do it, it's not as obvious as it was as when I was in high school. So if you come in and you're a little too heavy during the day, you're not going to be able to shed a pound or 2 pounds in one day without doing some of the crazy things, the kid wrestlers that I went to school with, like sitting in saunas or wearing plastic bags and running through the halls or spitting or peeing a lot to shed a couple pounds. And none of that can be too good for you. And Atwood just said wrestling is a hard sport. Oh my gosh, is it ever? Oh my gosh, I didn't really understand. I was in cross country and track, and I think those were hard sports. But there's not a whole ton of technique or even really strategy to running. You run, and the fastest guy or girl wins. But with wrestling, there's technique, there's things to learn, there's strategy, and obviously there's a massive amount of physical exertion that can go with it. And they have long wrestling practices, and it almost feels like we're sending our guy to the Marine boot camp for what he is going through. And again, he didn't make weight last night. And, he's a 14-year-old boy. He's growing. He's growing. He's transitioning from boyhood to manhood. He's getting bigger. He's getting stronger. He's gaining weight. He's supposed to eat. And it just seems kind of tough at that age to be trying to lose weight. And I understand they got to match people up of a similar size I don't know, for fairness of the wrestling or the sport. But it's just hard to imagine dropping weight. I mean, I'm 55 years old. I'm not supposed to be growing. I'm not supposed to be growing. And it's hard for me to drop a couple pounds. But, when you're developing and getting taller and getting wider and getting stronger, to cut weight seems challenging to say the least. So that's how wrestling is. Let's drink a little more coffee. I don't know how long I've talked to you for. I do not know how long I talked to you for. Belinda Grobler joined, my favorite South African viewer, I believe. I believe Belinda is from South Africa, and isn't that fun having an international audience? Doesn't it make me feel special? So, anyway, let's just drink some coffee. I don't know how long I'm going to talk to you. It's 11:07. I'm looking forward to my day because it's my day where I get some stuff done. And when I say stuff done, and the one thing, a couple things I've been struggling with, being home with the babies, it's hard to go work out when you're home with the babies. And I know there's more important things in life than working out, but there's also certainly less important things in life than working out. And I found a certain happiness and contentment and ability to sleep better at nights through joining a gym about 3 months ago. Thank you so much, Greg. About 3 months ago, I joined a gym, and now with our new schedule, making it to the gym with two little babies that sleep at this time is a little more challenging. My wife's off today, and I'm excited for her to get back from the doctors so I can head off to the gym, get a good workout in, do my bench press, feel strong, feel, I don't know, like I'm improving myself. And again, I talk about this a lot. My show is kind of a balance between being content with who I am and where I am and what I'm doing in life, while at the same time striving to be better tomorrow and feel better tomorrow and have more subscribers tomorrow or be in better shape tomorrow or, you know, I don't know, have a bigger bank account or whatever we qualify success as, have more love in my heart tomorrow, or maybe learn a couple things tomorrow between now and tomorrow. So it's an interesting mix, finding the drive for the ambition to be better, but at the same time being content with where I am today. And it's interesting. And it is a thing that my mind races with during the night, going, hey, I want to get this, this, and this done. And then I'll remember, hey, I'm also, take it easy, Ken. Let's be kind to myself. I'm exactly where I want to be or need to be right now. And that's in bed, getting some sleep, getting rested for tomorrow. But I don't know, it's something I've been struggling with and dealing with some anxiety with and working on. And I haven't figured out the answer. And again, I've realized in life, maybe we never figure out the answer. We just do our best. And we try and be our best and try and be okay and try and be content and pet our dogs and enjoy the sunsets and the sunrises and love on our babies and keep them safe and warm and, you know, be good. And again, just do our best. So Brian Miller said his dad is 60 and he just started going to the gym about 3 months ago as well. Yeah, my dad's 83, and I did a video about that the other day and joined a gym in the last few months, and I'm proud of him because, again, I hope to never stop striving to be my best. And even if I can't run a marathon these days or bench press 250 pounds or whatever, I can still be the best version of me. And the best version of me, again, it isn't the guy sitting in front of you, but I got to learn to love the guy that's sitting in front of you just the same, even though I know I'm not perfect. And I say this to remind myself, and if any of you guys can follow with my thoughts, please do. Again, I think it's important to love who we are and where we are and our lives as they are. But again, also want them to be a little better tomorrow. So let's drink a little more coffee. Anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for joining today. I've talked for about 40 minutes. I have a lot of fun on my shows. Um, my platforms grow every day. While I'm a stay at home dad, I'm also a full time content creator. I put a lot of work and a lot of effort into my videos and my shorts and my reels and my TikToks and have a lot of fun. Hopefully, they're either silly or educational or inspirational or entertaining or in some ways worthwhile. And I hope you found today's live worthwhile. And I hope you had a wonderful night's sleep last night. And I hope you're loving who you are today while still striving to be uh, a little bit better tomorrow. You're welcome, Brian Miller. Thank you for watching and subscribing and joining. And I appreciate you for saying that. I think the world needs more encouragement, and it's so easy to tear somebody down, but it's so important to build somebody up. And I think when you build other people up, you're doing God's work. And we need more encouragers in the world. And I appreciate you for saying that, Brian. So, anyway, want to thank you all so much for joining. One more sip of coffee. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you are feeling good. I hope you are loving yourself. I hope you're excited about your weekend, but you're also enjoying the moment. I hope you're forgiving yourself. And as always, I hope to talk to you soon. Bye bye.